Hi Hastings, and hi to Congresswoman Angie Craig. It's so nice of you to come and visit the farm.
So good to be here. I'm headed back to DC today, and we've got some ag committee meetings, so it's a perfect way to start the day.
Good. Well, we're excited that you're here talking to the farmers to get the scoop before you head back to DC. So I thought maybe we could start with a tour.
Sounds great. Let's do it.
Let's go. We milk typically around 120 cows.
Okay.
And then we have about the same number of young stock, and also we raise some steers. So this is our milking barn. We can head in there and take a peek.
Yeah. So tell me about your milking operation. Is automation, rely on good old-fashioned hand labor? How's it go?
It is automated.
Okay.
We don't have robots, which some farmers do.
Yeah.
We just can't justify the cost.
Right.
Because it takes several years in order to recoup that cost.
Sure.
But we did remodel this barn about 7 years ago, and I might be a little off on my numbers, but that's close anyway. So what we did is we took the footprint of this barn, didn't change the outside walls, but we accommodated. We were milking 6 at a time. Now we're milking 16 at a time.
Wow. That's great.
The nice part, obviously, is it takes a lot less time to milk, which gives us time to do the other chores that need to be done.
Yeah.
So
cool.
And I saw you peek behind
you.
I did. That is our bulk tank. It holds 1,000 gallons, and it's picked up every other day. So milk.
Who's doing the milking?
Well, Sarah does it at night. Grandma is our calf feeder.
Okay.
John milks morning and night. We also have a girl that works for us part-time, who's a recent high school graduate. She's in college now. And then Michael, our cameraman today, he comes, he's married and lives in Hastings. Michael does come out and milks every morning.
Oh, wow.
So we all have off-the-farm jobs as well. And then besides that, as far as community events, Sarah, you can talk about your Christmas.
Yeah, we host a Christmas event here, so families can come out and see cows in real life.
Yeah.
So Santa comes, families can get their picture taken. We get about 5,000 people that night that come through. And then we also do money and food collection for our food shelf in town. So last year we donated about $3,000 for milk so that they could buy milk this coming year for families in town.
Thank you for everything you're doing for our community. Really, really.
They support us, we support them. It's, hand in hand. So.
Well, I have the honor of serving on the Agriculture Committee in the U.S. Congress, but I also serve on the House Committee on Small Business.
Oh, okay.
And so I think those two are really married because you're the CEO of your family farm. And so to me, that's exactly the intersection that districts like this, we've got to be out supporting everybody.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree with you. So, yeah, we even kind of felt bad for the little kids during the pandemic at Halloween.
Yeah,
so
we did a drive-through Halloween event. So we had about 1,000 kids come through that night. So.
It was scary because we were in the house putting on our costumes, and Sarah looked out the window and she said, "Mom, people are lining up." I'm like, "No, they're not." "No, Mom, look."
No, Mom. They're all here.
So this is where the magic happens.
This is where it all happens.
So whoever's milking stands down in the pit, and we open that door, bring in 8 cows at a time, get them started, cleaned, sanitized, get the milkers on, then open the door and do the same thing on the second side. When the second side is started, then the first one's almost done.
Right.
The nice part about milk is it's never ever touched by human hands. Goes right from the cow to the hoses to the bulk tank and hooked up to the milk truck. So yeah, it's like the safest product, and we're really proud of that. And if you want to look out this door, and then if you look to your right, you can see just the tip of a tractor there. That is the building that we use for feeding. All the feed is mixed in a giant mixer, and then the cows go out to that smaller shed in front of it, and they line up there and eat. And then when they're tired, they come back in. But it's kind of the best of both worlds. They're always protected, they're always fed and watered, but they also have the ability to go out and run around and get some sunshine. And
that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
What's the most rewarding part of being a dairy farmer? Because I know a lot of it is hard.
It's hard, it's long hours, but I think what I like the best is that we're contributing. I don't know, it goes back to my childhood, I guess. Just the pride in growing up on a farm. I grew up in Cottage Grove, so I was close by. This is John's home farm. He's always lived and worked here. We just can't imagine doing anything else because we just like to contribute to the community. We know we're given a healthy product. We feel good at the end of the day.
fantastic. Well, I know a lot of dairy farms have had to shrink in the last several years. You had some really tough years. Tell me a little bit about that and how it's going now.
Yeah, we have gone down a little bit on cows, but it's mostly because we're just getting more and more. We really evaluate every cow. If they're not getting bred, if they're not producing the milk that they should, if they have a little issue, whatever it might be, we really scrutinize should they be a part of the herd,
Right.
because of the expense.
Sure.
So,
Well, the dairy margin coverage program is new in the last farm bill. Has that been helpful to you?
it has been helpful.
Good.
I mean, we really appreciate it. Like John alluded to earlier, we can always use more money.
Right.
I mean, it's not like we have no money in savings. Everything that we earn goes back into the farm.
Right.
So, obviously you'd like to have more money, but,
Right.
we're not going to be greedy either, because we know there's other people that have needs
Prices
as well.
have recovered a bit over the last little bit,
They
right?
have,
Yeah.
they have. They're still not great. I don't know what the current price is right now. We'd have to ask John that. But yeah, I don't look at it daily because I find it frustrating.
Sure.
So John
Yep.
watches the markets every day, multiple times a day,
Right.
just like the weather. He's glued to the weather station on
Right.
TV. But, to me, it doesn't really matter until that check is written,
Yeah.
what the price is.
Yeah, for sure.
So
You got some favorite members of the herd?
I don't personally. Sarah?
Sarah, you got some favorite members of the herd?
A lot of ours have names and things,
Yep.
and so when you walk out, and if you walk in amongst our herd, they're always up, they're licking you, and
Yeah.
you don't go in clean. But
Yeah, right.
but they're obviously very content, very happy. Some will even come if you call their name and things. So
What were y'all talking about?
Oh, we were just talking about this drought. The drought.
The drought?
thing. Yeah. and
Yeah.
This giving money to the guys is fine, especially the beef people, but there's no hay to be bought. So
Yeah,
we
that's what I was going to ask you. Is what have you? Are you into your winter supply?
well, knock on wood, something went wrong here because we got a really good supply of hay this year.
Oh wow.
And
But-
I mean,
It's irrigated.
yeah.
Right. You've got. I understand 75, 2/3 of the farm is
Yeah.
irrigated. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
yeah.
actually did the math the other day, and John has run the irrigators a total of 11 times.
Except for that one. That one's only run 10 because it rained last night. It was supposed to be running for you this morning, but it
Oh.
rained, so you
yeah.
don't get to see it
That's
go.
all right.
But
I'd
we take-
rather have the rain.
Yeah, absolutely. The rain is free.
Yeah.
But 10 or 11 different times the irrigators have made their, I'll call it circles or
Yeah,
cycles, whatever.
right, right.
And we figured about $5 an acre
Okay.
for
run.
to run.
for a run.
And 2/3 of our land is irrigated, so
Okay.
that works out to about $10,450 that we've spent just watering the crops.
Wow.
So then you
Wow.
take that and you add the seed and the fertilizer and any herbicides or
Right.
whatnot and machinery and time. Are we making money? No. That's the bottom line. We're not making money. Everything we make goes back into the farm.
Yeah.
So
How many acres do you have for haying?
For hay itself,
Yeah.
Angie, about 90.
90.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it's a little over 100 with the new seeding. Half of it is right out here. It's irrigated. What's watered looks great. The other half is on the dry land on the other farm, and that's nothing. We aren't even going to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even going to hay it. Just
Yeah.
better
Usually
days.
we can get a crop off in fall, but
Yeah.
even if it did come up, I wouldn't do it because it's so dry. I'm afraid we'd winter kill it if we
Yeah,
did.
right.
So we're just, no.
Well,
Right.
and that's the biggest discussion farmers are having right now is what's next year going to be, because this year was so hard on everything. So
Yeah.
next year could be tragic.
Next year, I think, could be 100 million times worse.
That's what everyone is saying to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's
This
saying.
this was a piece of cake compared to what could be coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John,
Yeah.
why do you keep doing it? I know it's, and I know the answer, but why do you keep doing it if you're not making any money?
I've been doing it so long, I don't know how to do anything else.
That's
I hear
not
you.
true.
I love it.
I
There
hear
you go.
like it.
I
That's
hear
it.
you. You love it.
I love watching them irrigators run, but not quite as much as this year.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
watching the stuff grow.
Yeah.
I like working with the cattle.
Yeah.
Well, our farm motto has always been, leave this world better than you found it.
Yeah.
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 So
Well, I'll be honest. My grandfather lost his job. He was a farm foreman. He lost it in the 1980s farm crisis.
oh yeah, that was a fun ride.
And to watch him as a man, a human being, have to have a different life and career, that was his life, farming. And so, the whole family experiences that when you know,
Yeah.
when you can't farm anymore.
Absolutely.
And so I understood what you were going to say before you were going to say it in a way that
Yeah.
it's very personal.
I traveled a lot for different aspects of farming, and so I've gotten to know a lot of, especially farm moms all over the United States, and it's just sad on social media when they sell out
Right.
and they no longer have their animals. I had one gal that sent me a private message. She says, "I don't know who I am anymore."
Right.
And I'm getting teary-eyed,
I know.
but it's tragic.
It is. It absolutely is.
So let's go see the baby cow.
Let's go see the baby cows. On that note.
So this is the nursery.
Oh.
So we do a lot of farm tours. We have a couple of interesting partnerships. One is with the YMCA in Hastings.
Right.
They have 4 times a summer. They have called what's Farm Camp.
Yeah,
and
they do
bring
some really good stuff here
So-
in Hastings at the Y.
Yes, yes.
Hi, sweetie. How are
Yes.
you? Do these girls have names yet?
They have numbers.
No. 18's a lucky number. Did you know that?
The lavender
Hi.
tags are girls. The yellow
Uh-huh.
tags are boys.
Oh. Well, I'm glad I got it right without looking. Can we name her Angie?
Sure. Absolutely.
Can we name 18 Angie? Okay,
Absolutely.
all right, good. Good.
Yes, and before you leave,
Hi.
we'll take a picture with you and Angie.
Hi, Angie.
So,
how are you?
and then her birthday is on there too.
Oh, let me see.
So she was born
August
in
21st.
When's
yeah.
your birthday?
February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi.
Yeah, she's gonna slobber you up good.
Yeah, she'll slobber me to death. It's okay.
So one of our partnerships I mentioned was the YMCA, where they come out 4 times in the summer. Obviously, with pandemic, we haven't
Yeah.
been able to do it. But the other partnership we have,
Hope you got that on camera.
the other partnership we have is with the Dakota County Technical College, and they bring their vet tech students out.
Oh, that's
and they actually get to
fantastic.
work on the
On
calves.
the calves.
Yeah, they
That's
watch
fantastic.
milking, but they actually do their practical experience right on our
great.
calves. So
great.
we're really happy with that responsibility or that opportunity, I should say.
That's fantastic. I
So-
think, that's one area where I've really tried to focus is technical education.
So these guys on this side of the barn are here until they're about 3 months old, because
Okay.
these guys get milk every morning, compliments of Grandma, Sarah, Michael, John, everybody but me, basically.
That's great.
And then when they get to be 3 months old and they're weaned from milk, then they move to the other side of the barn, where the bigger ones are, and then eventually they will be moved to a couple of other barns. So we keep
Gotcha.
transitioning them
Yeah.
so that we keep
Right.
the right ages together.
Yep.
Also, most people don't realize this, but the more often you move them, the easier they are to work with.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because they're
Interesting.
very much set in their ways, and the longer
Yeah.
they keep doing the same thing, the harder it is to do something else with them.
Right. What's the prime age for milk production?
Well, they have to obviously have a calf in order to
Yep.
produce milk,
Yep.
and that's around age 2.
Okay.
And then they have to have additional calves in order to continue milking.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think our oldest one is Muffy, and she's 11.
Well,
Yeah.
Hastings is such an amazing community. It really is. I mean, you're talking about the contributions into your township and all that, but it's one of my favorite places in the
Yeah.
congressional district, right along the river. And of course, it also has my favorite brewery, so there's that.
Quiet too, isn't
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It doesn't feel like the rest of the district. So
I'm guessing you meant Spiral?
you are correct.
It's
Nick and Amy and Jen.
it's owned by friends of theirs.
Yeah, Nick and Amy and Jen.
Yeah, Sarah
Yeah.
graduated with Nick and Amy.
Oh wow!
So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
they are they're something special, actually.
You had
Hi.
asked about if all these calves were born here. The heifers we keep for the herd.
Yeah.
The bulls we either raise for steers or otherwise, I know you're familiar with Roddy Farms.
Yep,
They
absolutely.
live right down the road.
Yep.
And
yep.
They buy a lot of our,
Okay.
our
Farm Family of the Year
boys.
this year.
Yes.
And that's good.
That's
right?
very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're not a skittish farm cat.
No,
You're a friendly one.
because everybody plays with them.
Oh.
So
my
what
goodness.
questions do you have for us?
Just what can we do to help support family dairy farms? See, that's it. I mean, I'm looking right now. I'm on a select committee, looking at how do we grow rural communities again. My greatest fear is we're going to continue to see consolidation, in dairy farming and in other, massive, hi sweetie, how are you? That we're going to see health care to continue to decline in rural communities. And I think these are just critical to keeping, our rural communities strong. So just any feedback you have on what you think the country needs to do, forget about turning it into legislation for now.
Right.
What do we need to do to keep?
I think what you need to do, being on the committee here on
Yeah.
this especially, is just keep your eyes open. Don't let the large end of the operation call the shots.
Yeah.
You got to take care of the small end.
Yep.
I was in school at one time, believe it or not, but I had a German teacher. I took German. And Europe is very big on defending the small individual operations. They
Right.
won't even allow Walmart into Europe because of it.
That's right.
And it isn't just agriculture. I know you're involved in that, but it's the same way with the small businesses on Main Street. They can't compete.
Yeah.
So
But-
that's,
The ag and small business are two of my 3 committees, so it's the perfect intersection to do that work. Do you get your health care off farm?
Well, we're kind of in an interesting situation. We actually talked about this prior to you coming. I now am an old lady. I'm on Medicare
Okay.
starting this year.
Yep.
But prior to that, we had our
Are
own.
you married to an old man or?
No, I'm young.
she robbed the cradle.
Yeah. I always say I picked him young so I could train him the way I wanted him, but it's not working.
Keep trying. Keep trying.
But going back, I don't know how many years, maybe it might even be 10 years now, we had our own health insurance, got ridiculously expensive,
Yeah.
and we were paying deductible, like $3,000, $5,000 deductible, which, to be honest, we didn't even have that in the bank at the time.
Right.
But we knew we had to keep the premiums down, so we just prayed that we never got sick.
Right.
But then our insurance man came to us and he said, this is getting out of line. He said, you should check with the state. So we swallowed our pride and we went on state insurance.
Yeah.
And now that I'm on Medicare, I'm not on health
Right.
state insurance anymore.
Yeah.
But because of John having some medical conditions, he is still
Okay,
on
okay.
state insurance.
Yeah.
So we pay a lot less than most people,
Yeah.
but we are the exception to the
Yeah,
rule.
yeah.
Healthcare, I know a lot of farmers that don't have health insurance
Yeah.
because they just can't afford it, and that's one thing they can drop and still feed their
Yeah.
animals and stay
I
afloat.
know a lot of guys or gals, one or the other, works off farm and has
Yep.
good
Right.
To
insurance
bring home the insurance, yeah.
off
Right.
farm.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they're
Yeah.
doing it.
Well,
This has been one of the areas where I've just been intensely focused, and I would encourage you to, when you have a chance, look at it again. We just passed in the American Rescue Plan a premium tax credit for people who are buying their health care in the individual marketplace, and I believe in the next couple of months we're going to make that tax credit permanent, so that you can't pay $24,000 a year in premiums and then have a $10,000 or $12,000 deductible. And I've got constituents, that's been their reality. This premium tax credit saved one family in my district that I know of very well $10,000 a year on their health care costs. So I just tell you and all your friends, look into the premium tax credit that we passed earlier this year in the Congress, because I do think it's going to help drive down those health care costs.
yeah. Well, it's, John is
still
paying $4
yeah.
a month, so obviously.
Not going to drive it down any further than that.
I think we're kind of to the
Yeah,
end.
John, I think you're good. But yeah, well, and
But-
prescription drug costs are another thing that I've got in my sights. You're probably going to see a lot of ads attacking me next year, and telling me, don't do this or don't do that. The reason they're going to attack me, it's funded by brand name pharma, is because I think Medicare ought to negotiate with brand name pharma just like they do with the VA. And they don't want to have to compete on drug prices. They want to be able to keep their prices wherever they set them.
Sure.
And this was my last 4 years at St. Jude Medical where I worked. I ran the health plan for the company, and we were self-insured. We didn't go through an insurance company. And so basically we said, all right, we're going to take out health care for our employees. We set the price for premiums and deductibles, and we paid most of it as a company, but I had to sign the bills. So I got a first-hand look on where drug costs have gone and which are reasonable and which are not. So it was a real education, I can tell you that.
Yeah. The other thing we've been talking about is the stepped-up basis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, if you want to
Yep.
share about
Yeah,
that.
that stepped up basis thing, that needs to be the way it is.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
most of these operations won't get turned over if it goes away.
Yeah.
Well, I've told the administration that I think we need to exclude farmers from any increase in the stepped-up basis. Just exclude you completely. Not, not have some sort of, minimum where it's like over $1 million, because land costs around here $10,000 an acre. You're going to get to $1 million pretty darn quick
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
land value. So I'm one of, I think, 12 Democrats from the committee who sent a letter to the administration asking them to exclude family farmers from any change in the stepped-up basis.
Well, thank you
So
for that.
I'm with you on this. Well, I sadly have to go to the airport.
And that's fine, but maybe as we walk to
Yeah.
the house, I can share a couple of other things. And if I give you some wet wipes, do you have time
Yep.
for an ice cream sandwich?
I do.
I thought
Maybe in the car.
John talked about, make sure you watch out for the small guy. But I also want you to keep in mind that the larger farms are probably family-owned farms too. 96% of farms are family-owned. So even the big ones, there's probably several families, maybe several generations that came together. So probably my biggest pet peeve is when people talk about industry farms or factory farms. That just rubs us all the wrong way, because no matter how big the farm or how small the farm, we all have the same good intentions. Yes, there's always a few bad apples in everything. And then the other thing is the average age of farmers right now in the United States is 58 years old. So what are we going to do to get these younger people for this profession to look enticing?
I think that's one of the biggest questions and opportunities we have in the next farm bill is how are we going to encourage, incentivize that new and emerging farmer?
Yeah.
And I think, there's the other side of this, which is the tax issue, right? And
Right.
changing stepped-up basis to be able to transition that family farm
Right.
on to the next generation.
Absolutely.
Whether they're in your family or someone else's family.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, if young people don't grow up in a farm, they can never farm, because it's just impossible to take on that kind of a debt load. So it's just especially important to look out for the next generation, because eventually, even though John doesn't think he's ever going to retire, eventually he may have to, and then somebody else has to step up. And I am proud of our children. They found careers they love, and that to me is most important, is that they love what they're doing. But then we need to find someone else that's willing to take over, as a new farmer. So
Well, thank
anyway.
you all for
Well,
your
thank you.
contributions to our community, and obviously I'm
So,
just a phone call away if you ever need anything.
and we have some goodie bags for you,
Wow.
for each of you. Please, we love talking farming, so reach out anytime.
Well, I'm headed straight to the airport, or I'd stay longer.
Absolutely, that's all right.
I got one more bag.
Yes.
You give it to somebody really important in Washington. Whether it's on your committee or Joe or whoever.
I'm going to make sure it gets to a member of the Ag Committee.
There you go. We would appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. So, nice to meet you.
Bye, Grandma. Bye.